look at yourself. Just look at the lens like a professional.
Okay, right. So the thing is, the irritating thing is, I went downstairs and I was like, okay, we're reviewing single malt. I'm gonna get a single malt.
Okay, so we're talking which brands would be on that list right now.
There was no single. This hotel doesn't sell single malt.
No, I get that. We're in Italy. I don't expect them to have various scotches here.
They had Black Label, but
which is fine. But
I have standards.
No, exactly. So Johnny Walker, I feel, is basically kind of the UK trying to feed Americans something that is more accessible. For the American style taste. It's not going to be as it might not be as weedy as typically like what you'd expect from like a Glenfiddich or a Glenlivet or something like that. So I'm thinking to myself, like, I was expecting something to come up like that, and to be honest, I'm not looking forward to that. And the reason is because I prefer more of the versatile liquors and spirits. The gins, vodkas. I'm a basic bitch in that regard. However, I feel like since this is hard to pair with foods I often like to eat, that's why I feel that way. But what isn't hard to pair is fragrance. Yeah. I can always spray less of this if I feel like it in the summer.
Yeah. So you're not the biggest fan of whiskies?
I'm not.
No. Which is kind of unusual. So like when it comes to single malts, those kind of like more earthy, kind of peaty, that's not really a thing that you're into?
No, because usually when I'm drinking, I don't drink just to have a drink. Like usually I'm pairing it with something.
Oh, really?
That's
very fancy.
Yeah, because like as a bartender and someone who I wouldn't say a foodie because it's not something that I don't think should be a word.
Really?
It's more like I'm just an enthusiast for things I can be hedonistic about. So why not food and beverage?
So what do you drink? What's kind of like
something that you can pair with anything? Like we're talking.
Well, what if you're just out with the boys? Like you were out with us last night. You just want to unwind. You want to relax. What would be like
probably
the first
gin.
thing? Gin.
Yeah.
It's weird because like gin, like it kind of tastes a bit like Christmas trees to me.
Yeah, it's arboreal because of the juniper.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. That being said, I also am into vodkas, like a basic bitch would be. However, I'm not ashamed of that. You can mix it with almost anything that's darker if you feel like it. But, something like this, I would feel gutted if I only had straight. And more often than not, I'm also eating something simultaneously. So I feel like the fragrance is easier to pair with things. If I want something that is warmer, I don't have to have it in my mouth. I can be wearing it.
No. So American whiskeys, American bourbons, are you into that? Do you fuck with that?
We got
Gentleman Jack.
Gentleman Jack right here.
Is,
Super Tennessee.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, of course. When it comes to like Jim Beam and stuff like that, it's just not for me.
I hear that they have prohibition still in Tennessee, so you can make the Jack Daniels, but you can't drink the Jack Daniels. I've heard that's true, which is nuts.
Yeah, that's incredible if it is. I mean, we would have to ask someone like CascadeScents about that if that is a thing. Yeah, because of course he's from Tennessee, so wish he was here right now, but he's not.
So the thing is with so this is Killian, and you can tell it's Killian. So who's this for?
This is for the ultimate night outer, to be fair.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mainly because it is a fragrance that, first and foremost, to me, is a fragrance. It doesn't come off as something that makes you smell like an alcoholic. There's been times that I went through what we call a ride check in Canada, where I've been wearing something like Apple Brandy by Killian. Yeah. And they ask me, have you been drinking? And I'd say, I haven't been. They're like, what's that smell? And then I would have to blow a 0 on the breathalyzer test. Just to see if I was lying. But with something like this, I'm talking about you just smell warm, pleasant. It has this beautiful plum opening. And if you're into a fruity night out scent, that is also reminiscent of what is to come if you want to really delve into it, which is, of course, the single malt elements. Then this is something that you should probably pursue.
It's funny because I kind of see a different kind of thing, because I find it quite light. I find it a lighter kind of tone to like, because I'm used to pure malt, which is, you're talking about #basic bitch, as you would say. I think that's a bit basic, but I find it actually like really quite a lot more cleaner. I think it's a cleaner cut kind of thing. I don't.
It also doesn't have the Amen DNA.
No. But to me, this is actually like I wouldn't wear this to a nightclub because, and I'll tell you why. I find it too clean. I find it too like smooth, and I like a bit of oomph with clubbing fragrances. But I'd wear this to a really high class event. I'm glad that you brought it to CascadeScents because it is very of that kind of ilk.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, of course, like there's clubs, and then of course there's lounges.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah.
At that point, I'm trying to find a more fitting fragrance, than this. And that's a thing. Like, it just depends what kind of space you're in. My friend over here is more susceptible to go to somewhere like the Boiler Room and listen to some IDM, which is fine.
Yeah.
And to be honest, this is a little bit more reserved for a situation like that.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to a jazz lounge, if I'm on a date to maybe the orchestra or something like that, this is perfect.
I could see that because for me, like, also the price point as well, because I think that the price point is, it's Killian. It's Killian, and the thing for me is that if I want to, if I was to pay that much amount of money, and then take it to a nightclub, it's just going to be drowned out by all of the loud, designery, sugary kind of stuff. I think it's too good for that.
Yeah. So if you are someone who is of that character, as far as someone who wants to be loud and whatnot, like you're not going to reach for this at all. You're not even going to test it, because this is for more of that, reserved gentleman who's looking to have more conversation than some dances. And there's nothing wrong with either, approach to going out. It's just, I feel like this is something that you might graduate to. It's not your first night out scent.
Dear God.
But if you're looking for something else, then this might be it.
I love it. I mean, I love it, but I feel as though something's kind of... I'll get to that in a second, but would you like this? I would say that this is for somebody who is kind of like Manny, who actually enjoys kind of lighter stuff.
Yeah, it's strong enough for me as far as the longevity. Yeah. And I don't want...
We're not on that part yet. It's a very structured review, Manny.
Yeah. I mean, you threw it out there to me.
Well,
I'm implying longevity.
Did I?
Yeah.
We've caught this on tape. I don't think that's how I put it. But, no, I mean, as in, you like lighter kind of stuff. You like your Silver Mountain more, you like your Byredo.
I want something that lasts, but I don't want something that projects.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, scent, what do you get from this?
Pretty straightforward scent. We're talking plum opening, kind of like it's listed.
Yeah.
It goes into something weedy almost ASAP, which is nice because, of course, that's something you'd expect out of a single malt whiskey.
Yeah, especially Speyside.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you're not going to get floral notes, but it's going to be evocative of a lighter single malt whiskey, which I think is something I'd be along the lines of anyway if I was to actually pursue it furthermore. But the thing is with this, of course, it has enough of a punch, but it's not gonna, quote unquote, jump off my skin too much. So I do like how it's not as aggressive. Yeah.
I like, because I get a bit of wood, which is great because that's like
definitely,
I get this alcoholic like that, you know what I mean? I get this kind of thing where I'm smelling it and I feel like a real drinky kind of thing, but it's not too boozy. It's not over the top. It's really like, it's understated, and I don't know how they've done it, but it smells like a rich whiskey.
That's fair. I mean, it is Killian Hennessy after all, but at the end of the day, with something like this, like, since it's a rich whiskey for a guy who's typically...
Are you opening my bar tonight?
Imagine that,
Sorry, is this your bar?
So, gentlemen, may I have a Moscow Mule, please?
Yeah. Sorry, we were filming a video.
A video right here,
a fragrance review.
You do now?
Yeah.
Are you opening it up?
Oh, sorry, no.
We love your bar. We love your bar. It's so beautiful.
We're recording something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, we've literally commandeered this bar. I'm really sorry. We're really sorry. We're reviewing a fragrance that's like whiskey. It's like whiskey orientated. So a bar, and it's a very beautiful bar. Please don't kill us. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm joking.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
That's going in.
Yeah. No, if you want. Yeah. Now about this though,
Yeah.
Like because of its more reserved nature,
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of more for the one drink kind of guy,
Yeah.
you know, who doesn't need to get absolutely blitzed, you know, when he's going out.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
I mean, if that's him, then that's
Yeah,
cool,
yeah. It's
but-
like it's got a good, cool, pleasant kind of like nice, cool
Yeah.
vibe. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
if I'm going out for a nice dinner, I'm
Yeah.
probably reaching for this. If
Yeah,
I'm going to a
100.
lounge, I'm probably reaching for this too. So it just depends what you're into. Like you said, you know, it's not for the nightclub goer, unless you are that guy who wants to maybe just stay for one drink and then go somewhere else.
and just be the coolest mofo that was there.
Exactly.
What would you give like out of 5, like structurally, technically?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'd probably give it, with something like this being my favorite Killian by far.
Okay.
I think it treads the line of being a fragrance and like liquor, without me again thinking that it is straight up liquor, unless I were to be told that it is a single malt whiskey. I like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's not as overt, but it still story tells. If you think about it, I personally would give it a 5. You also you also think of the value. You know, you're talking about Killian right here. You don't have to pay for this ostentatious bottle and the coffin as well. If you want to save £100, you can also do something like.
Yeah.
If you also want to save, if you want to save
Sorry.
if you want to save $100, you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Again, you can just buy the tester version, and that's okay. You're gonna get as much juice. So if that's all you're passionate about, then
Yeah, the chap who owns the bar just left. I really hope he's not part of the mafia. I really hope. I just don't want to get.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine that. Just coming to SS Holmes, meeting your mates, then you get murdered for sitting on somebody's bar. Anyway, I'd give it a listen. I know that you love it, and I adore it, but I wish I'd had a bit more wood, because for me it just feels like a kind of a really punchy kind of thing. But I just feel as though I'd like a little bit more.
Yeah.
But technically, it's brilliant, and there's just something about it. But I'm going to have to stay with real to me, and that's a 4 out of 5. But that's extraordinarily high. But I know that you love this, and that's why I wanted you to do it.
No.
Projection. What do you get out of it?
Like no more than an arm's length, to be honest, or just over that, depending on maybe 2-3 hours in. That's where I want it to be. You know, I'm not looking to be quote unquote the life of the party with that kind of scent. More often than not, I'm wearing it again to maybe a gala, maybe something where I'm maybe smart casual minimum as far as the hierarchy of formal clothing. So for me, I don't really care too much about how much more it can project.
Yeah. I'd say out of 5.
Like 3.5.
3.5, yeah.
Yeah.
I get a modest projection, and that's one of the things that kind of bothered me about the clubbing thing. But with the lounge thing, you're going to love that. So that, I'd say 3. 3 totally, yeah. Longevity though, this one does last. I got a good amount on that.
Yeah, I would say 4 minimum. You know,
Yeah.
Mainly because if I'm getting close to a day with it, where I don't have to, worry about it not being there the next morning. That's what I care about. Then it's fine.
Yeah. Longevity, I get 4 out of 5. It's always smelled like very strong, and it's misleading almost, because you think it's not going to last, but it does. It does. So I'd give Longevity 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, well, fair enough. So projection, basically we're just saying the same thing. 3 out of 5. It's a decent amount, but not what you're expecting. And then longevity, I'd say we're equal. 4 out of 5. You're gonna get a good amount of time, but it's not beast mode. It's not like outrageous. Yeah. You're free to go.
Thank you. Cheers.